Hey, welcome back to the Caribou Data Science channel on YouTube. This is the afternoon of December 18th, 2022, and I'm taking a look at a post I got from a person. I have a video entitled, how to Excel Power Query importing and cleaning the data. Well, the gentleman the person is running on a Mac, Excel on a Mac, and he ran into some problems. He went out and he loaded the Insiders Club. That gave him a little newer version. That gave him more Power Query options. But he wasn't able to do a save and load to. What that load to allows you to do allows you to only use a connection and not actually import, not actually try to load all the tables directly into Excel, if that makes any sense. So what are our options? Well, it's like I told him. The best option would be to upgrade to Office 365. Okay, I'm sorry, that's the best option. Whenever possible, you also want to use the latest version of the software, okay, the latest stable version of software. And as I said many times, Excel to begin with isn't really the best choice. You'd be better off using Tabula or Power BI. That's the right one. You can also use, or the author could also use R or Python. Okay, you can use a combination. As I'm going to show you here, you can use a combination of SQLite and a database, and then you'll connect. So as you can see, we're going to connect to the SQLite database from Excel using using an OBDC driver. You could also simply do all your aggregate functions, your data cleaning inside of inside of SQLite, and then export that to a CSV file. But it's much more fun to try to use an ODBC driver. Okay, so let's get started here. So we need to, first of all, we need to go out, search for, so you need to come over here like this. Go to SQLite.org, downloads, then you got macOS, okay? You take that, you install it. Now, if you're using macOS, you may be able to use your package install function to install it, which would be much cleaner. Okay, but that's what it is. Then you need some type of tool to actually work with it. Now, I use one called DB Browser. Okay. Does it work for Mac? Does it work for There you go. Apple Silicon Mac OS package available. So you want to download that. So we download the DB browser or your tool of choice. You'll see why I use DB browser here in just a little moment. And last thing we need to do is OD. Is there a function ready for Mac? There's one right there. And here it says installing Mac OS ODBC driver there also. So this gives us the tools we need. Okay. And from this point out, that the function should be the same. Okay. Let's just build a. Let's just do this. Let's just call this. Okay. And that's where we're going to put our database. So what you do then, and this should work the same on pretty much basically on any Mac and OS or Mac and Windows both. So you go to OBDC. There's an ODBC driver. Okay. Then we'll come over here. We've already added one to OBDC, but we're going to add a second one. Okay, we'll come over here. Well, first of all, let's come back over here. Let's create a new database, and let's import our data in. Let's import them 12 files in. New database. Documents. We can call it Cyclistic. Okay. So now we got our data. We're now going to create a new table. Now we'll go out and we're going, and here's where the magic begins with this particular function. We're going to import SQL files. Okay, we'll come back up here. Cyclistic, bike data. Now we should be able to come over here with this whole thing. Shift, highlight all the files, and do an import. And we're going to call this Bikeshare. Okay, right? And you may need the time actually. Okay, but for our purposes here, we're going to start. All right. So now you come over here. You can do some of your data cleaning here. What you want to do is you want to do some aggregate functions. You want to split. We want to split the data out into just the date format, just the date and not the time. So this would be what 4, 6, 8, 10. So let's try this. Let's see if we can do a Bikeshare. Let's just do something simple. Let's just produce the total number of rides by day. Okay, for our purposes. Let's see. Select. Oh, started at. Now this the note is that SQLite doesn't actually have a date function, but let's just see what happens here. Now that's interesting, isn't it? This is a date, right? Started at okay. So what do we do? Well, now we're going to do this as if it's a well, it's a text field. So we're going to say left. Wait. I didn't put the right thing in there, did I? See what happens. Okay, so the problem is it isn't actually reading the entire data, is it? So what we're going to do is we're going to do a left. Left. Oh, you know what it is? A string. Okay, I'm gonna give you a link to a site I use, and I use this site all the time. So you need to bookmark this site, okay? Click on the web.net. So it's got summary functions for all these databases here. So let's come over here. Let's look at string. Substring. Now we got dates. So let's try this. Now we'll come over here and we want to count the number of rides by date. Now we could do what is it? Not a table update. We could do an update. Okay, and we can update the column to have the date in it. But I'll leave that for you to figure out, okay? So here's the counts by day. I just call this ride counts. Okay, so it's still treating this as a date field. You can see the way it's sorted by default. Okay, so now we got that table. What we want to do is we want to create a table from this query so we can access it in Excel. Okay, and again, you can use that. You can use the documentation on the tech on the web.net site to learn out how to parse out the various fields, how to pull out just the hour column. Okay, for instance, because what you probably want to look at to a certain extent, you want to look at daily numbers and hourly numbers, hours by number. Okay. And also the numbers by day of the week. But those can all be done using that tech on the web.net video or page. Oh, that's finished, isn't it? Yeah. So let's come back over here. Ride counts. Now we got our ride counts. Okay, so let's save these changes. Let's save the database. Ride changes. There we go. Close this. All right. Now come back over here to ODBC. And we're going to add a new driver. SQLite3 driver. Finish. Data source name. Now here's the key. You're going to browse to this file over here, okay? macOS. And there's our database file, okay? Click this. Bikeshare data, okay? Now let's see what happens here. Now again, this will also work for Power Query, okay? Import data source database. Nothing there. Other sources. ODBC. Username. I'm using now. How this is going to work on Mac, I don't know. Okay, because the database itself doesn't actually have any security in it. Okay, there's no it's a completely open system. Okay, it's a single file. But for here, I get to come to Windows, username, connect. Okay, so here you can see our two tables. This is the big table, which we can't, which I can import, but you can't. Okay. A couple notes about the data. That if you're using Cyclistic Bikeshare data, uh, there's roughly 100,000 rows that's missing station name. You're going to see maybe you're also going to see a few, but this is only one. Okay. Transform data. Okay, so that says ABC. So when you come over here, change type to date. Now we got our dates. Okay. Now this is going to have well less than 1,000 rows. So we'll come over here. So does that mean it's actually now? If you're able to get Power Query to work correctly, you would see this screen here, and you see connection only. Okay, now connection only is like a window. Okay, you can see the data, but you can't. But you can work with it, but you can't actually. But it's not actually part of this spreadsheet here. But for this purpose, here, I'm just going to do this. Okay, now this is interesting. All right, this is interesting. Uh, let's delete this. Where are our numbers? I don't understand how come it's not important in that table. All right. Let's try one more time. We got the counts there. Okay, what's interesting is it's seeing these numbers as characters also. Okay. Now it could be taking a moment for this to load over here also. And I will mention that if I haven't done so, Power BI also has Power Query in it. Okay, and you can do the same video there. Is Power Query available in Excel? No, but if it's available online. So does that mean this is changing? It shouldn't be. Let's close this, get rid of this. So, yeah, it doesn't make any sense that it wasn't important data, but I've actually seen this before when I was trying to do this. So you see, both of these are being seen as dates or as the character fields. Now, could it be that this thing is taking a few moments to 12%? What's the errors? Now, I'm not really sure what these errors are here. And this could be a problem. So the numbers are appearing there. All right. So let's see, home. What we're looking for is our okay. Now what are the errors? I wonder what the problem was. It's like this. Where did the road number come from? There's no road numbers over there. And that's the trouble. Like I said, I'm not really sure what the problem is at this point. Let's do this. Let's insert. Okay, so we come down here now, right? Okay. Or you could simply come here and plot these right here also, but it's for fun of it. Let's try this instead. Now you got your first plot. Was it now that it's possible? Now I also can't remember. Was there problems with some date fields? And there you have your first visualization. Okay. So hopefully this helps a little bit. Uh, the key is the ODBC driver, the SQLite database, and the DB browser. Okay. And then also you saw before, we just went out and we imported all 12 files into a SQL database right off the bat. And again, if you could also, if you see the video online, you could also simply create the aggregate functions inside of SQLite and cut and paste the data into your spreadsheet. But it's much more fun to to use ODBC. All right. So I hope you found this video helpful today. I should be back here at 8 p.m. this evening, Sunday evening, to do a live stream also. But thanks so much for your time. We hope to see you at 8 p.m.